Welcome to Cinema Gulp, everybody. I'm Ben, and with the help of a couple of guests, I'm finally going to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. What did I think? Okay, and here to talk to Cinema Gulp about the Snyder Cut today is returning Black Phillip. How you doing, Phillip?
Doing good, thank you, sir.
Good. And for the first time on the show, we got Scotty.
Hey, what's going on?
Before I even let you guys talk, and thank you very much for being on Cinema Gulp. It's great to have you guys here.
Lifelong dream.
You can die a happy person now. I'm gonna preface my opening thoughts first by saying that I don't think any 2.5 or even 2 hour and 45-minute long film could ever have been made that would satisfy anyone, or that it would even be that good. That obviously what hit it could be better than what hit theaters, but not that great. The reason this film turned out the way it did, obviously, is because it's a director's wet dream. It's every money shot you've ever wanted to put in a movie, and no fighting with any editor about what can or can't be in there. So with no time restrictions, there's no fucking way this could have worked any other way. Having said that, sounds like I'm going down a negative path. I thought this movie was fucking great.
We've all seen the original 2017.
Yeah.
And I found that to be a horrible mess.
Absolutely. Garbage.
I wasn't invested in the characters. I thought the jokes were awful. I'm not even going to mention the mustache. And watching that, having seen the forgettable 2017, watching the Snyder Cut was developed. I cared about the characters. I was invested in the emotion. I teared up several times, and I thought that it was worth the 4-hour runtime the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
I have been told that there are some movies that are like watching a book. And Justice League did feel a bit like watching a book, but I was happy to watch that book.
It felt like watching a comic book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot better than what I like to call Justice League. Yeah, like Scotty said, you didn't care about the characters. They made Wonder Woman a badass. I mean, who didn't love that scene in the...
I was texting you going, there's the fucking black Superman suit. And I was like, Wonder Woman is a beast right from the get-go. Like, yeah, it was...
She's whipping people all around.
Dude, pretty much, I want to say they all murder people in this movie, which is great, you know?
Yeah, but I gave up on the whole thing that DC... Like, in Zack Snyder's DCEU, everyone kills.
Well, no, and I think that's great. That's not a knock on it. I'm fine with that. I mean, there was a couple of goofy, like, what was it, like the Atlantean CGI blood when Steppenwolf threw him against the rock or whatever, and I was like, ooh, I was like, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a little goofy, but I was like, okay, that's Walking Dead type of blood and guts, you know?
Oh yeah, no, like and there was one Wonder Woman threw a dude against the wall, and there was a blood splatter from where his head was collapsed, and I was just like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, no,
I gave up on it after seeing Metropolis destroyed in Man of Steel. I really don't care about the murder.
The opening scene of this movie was so interesting, and at first I was a little impatient because it was a very long scene of Superman's cry coming out and it showing all these different locations around the world, and then I started to go, oh, I get it though. It's actually giving a purpose for why those boxes matter. Or why they awoke. I mean, it kept reminding me of how Justice League 2017 made no fucking sense. The jokes in this 2017 one were so horrifically awful. Like, the subtle jokes in the Zack Snyder one worked perfect with the tone and actually worked better. Were more chuckly. They were more genuinely chuckly.
Well, and the thing is that I find the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League to be the most lighthearted of all of his trilogy, if you will.
It still was. Yeah, it still was. Yeah.
Like, it was a lighthearted movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't dark and dour as I expected it to be. And could you make the Snyder 4-hour cut? Could you make that into a 2.5-hour movie? Yeah.
You could, but again, it would lead. There was so much story to tell and so many characters. Like, the reason that everyone likes Justice League, this one, because you finally get to know like 4 out of the 6 characters, just even if just a little bit. Like,
my gosh.
You know, with 2.5 hours, like you still couldn't do that. Element would still be missing. Sure, you could flesh out the story, but you wouldn't.
How long was Cyborg's introduction and origin story in the Snyder Cut? How much screen time do you think that was?
I don't think that their origin stories necessarily were.
Well, no, I think Cyborg was an origin story.
No, I
know.
I mean, what I mean is, I don't think it was long because of that. I mean, the characters got more to do, even, you know, not just their like prologues, but all the other stuff they got to do, like be here, have their own hero moments, which was awesome. That stuff gave me chills. Like, everyone had hero moments in this movie. It was so cool.
So yeah, I think Cyborg was probably the most developed of all the stories, because we already know Batman's story, we already know Wonder Woman's, but Cyborg was supposed to be the heart of the movie. So I think
Well, Snyder's probably like, Ray Fisher ain't getting his own solo movie, so we better tell it all here. And I like Batman in this movie too. Like, I want to say they shot like everything over for him in that Jostin cut. Like, he's nothing like that character in this one. He's like Batman in this one. He's not some old crotchety dude grabbing his back and cracking shitty jokes. He's Batman in this movie.
He is. I absolutely agree. And he is definitely, I don't know. It's almost like an Uncle Ben kind of situation going on with Batman, in terms of he feels guilt about having wanted to destroy Superman so much and then finding out. And this is all just based in the context of the Justice League, because none of this comes from Batman versus Superman. But he's just absolutely like, no, he was good. He was a good man, and he was good for the world, and he was good for all of us, and I was fucking it up. And so, yeah, no, I think Cyborg is the heart of it, but also I think like it's kind of weird to see Bruce Wayne be Alfred with Alfred next to him, because ultimately when it comes to the Justice League, no matter how you hash it, Batman is a human. And what's his superpower? He's rich. So he's kind of Alfred to the Justice League. You need a satellite in space? I'm Batman.
Wow, what a good observation. That's 100%. But you know, they did do a good job of making him, because in the Justice League one, he's just fucking worthless in that movie.
Oh, he's bumbling.
Especially in the end. At least in this one, he almost takes on more of like that Hawkeye role, where he's better at maneuvering against these aliens, and he's tough as nails when it comes to being a human. So he uses his gadgets and his fighting style, and he fucks up all those parademons. And plus, he's got the gadgets and the cars, and the car is so badass in this movie. It's so much more badass.
Like, you get the crab, and you get the tank. But also, I liked that they explained how he could deflect. Like, when he had the gauntlets, Alfred made him some armor. Yeah. And so that was a nice explanation as to how did that work. And it was like, no, I appreciated that. And also, don't scald the tea.
Yeah.
You put the hot water in first, then the tea bag, Diana. Pull your head out of your ass.
I want to say that somebody either paid, blackmailed, or dared Joss Whedon to take the coolest shots of the movie and reshoot them and make them complete shit. Because the Batcave looks so dope in the Justice League Snyder cut. Like, that scene where the whole Justice League goes down there and they walk past Alfred, that is awesome. And like, the Batcave looks cool. It looks like a Batcave. When you see it in like the Justice one, it's just like a room with computers in it.
I will accept that if you will entertain the idea that the Aquaman walking out with the bottle of whiskey and the music during that scene, I enjoyed it better the first time in the 2017 cut as opposed to whatever lullaby was playing when Aquaman was being awesome in the Zack cut.
Well, it's hard to beat the White Stripes Icky Thump when that's playing. So it's like you put that over anything and it's cool.
Now he can thump who the funk sitting drunk on a wagon to Mexico.
What do you guys think about the Avengers slow-mo hero team shot? Did you think that was ridiculous, or is that cool, or what?
When they're all ready to fight.
Yeah, and they're flying, and like the Batmobile's in the center, and they're all kind of flying next to it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Slow motion. I did too, but I kept thinking, I wonder if they added that later, like because they're like, oh, we need like an Avengers like money shot. I'm not complaining. It was really good, and the movie kind of.
Yeah, but there are people who complain about the Avengers money shot in the first 2 minutes of Age of Ultron, but it looks great.
Yeah.
It is a money shot. It is,
didn't make any
roll
sense.
credits.
It mimicked more of that hero shot because it was an action thing, and then it's slow motion. You know, the first Avengers movie, it was organic. It was like a part of the shot. You know, like the rotating around the group was so good. You know.
Ooh, speaking of computer generated, can we talk about Martian Manhunter?
Yeah. I didn't think he could look any worse than he does on the CW.
I know he's a shapeshifter. I have no idea why he dressed up like Martha to talk to Lois. Oh no, you know what? We shouldn't talk about Martian Manhunter until we get to the absolute ridiculousness that is the end of the movie with the nightmare sequence with the Dr. Jared Leto.
I found it so jarring in the 2017 cut that they were taking elements from Richard Donner's Superman, from John Williams' Superman score, and then taking elements from Danny Elfman's Batman score and peppering it in. It was so lazy. That's a fan film right there.
Not only that, but they were using the Superman, like when Superman showed back up at the end to fight Steppenwolf, that was warranted, and I enjoyed that little Easter egg, if you will. But when they did it, when he was first revived and he was swinging punches at Barry, and they played that, and I was just like, this is inappropriate.
Yeah, and it takes you right out of the movie because it's not canon with those movies. So why are they playing the music from those movies?
Well, if you're playing Danny Elfman's Batman theme, I'm looking around for Michael Keaton.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's like a robot chicken move right there. How great is it that they brought back all that Junkie XL Hans Zimmer shit? That's so good. Oh my god, the Man of Steel score is it's so.
Oh, I love the Wonder Woman theme.
Yeah, they're both of those are brilliant. Those are both brilliant scores. I've never seen Aquaman, so I don't know if that score is any good. But even in this cut, he's still the weakest part for me. It's not just character, but acting too. He's the guy who's dating the chick that you follow out of the frozen yogurt place, and then she jumps on the back of his motorcycle, and you frown face.
We should discuss the black suit.
Yeah, and it's funny, like there was all these theories about why he was wearing it. He just picked it. He was looking through his closet, and he just picked it. I think people thought it was like recharging his solar energy. It's like, no, he's just like, oh, that one looks cool. I've never worn that before.
I don't know anything about Apocalypse. I don't know anything about Darkseid. I don't know anything about that deep of lore of DC Comics. And so I was confused by the static mushroom clouds that were going on in the world. I don't know what that Flash future thing that was happening with Cyborg was. Yeah, those are my two biggest, like, what?
I think what he did when they gave him the keys and just said, fucking go at it, he didn't cut out anything. And what I think he should have done, knowing that he's probably never going to do another one of these movies. I mean, never say never, but, and what he should have done, instead of being like a boy who's got every G.I. Joe in the world, is edited out at least things that don't leave the story so open. As an editor myself, there's 10 places in the last 40 minutes of that movie that you could have ended it, or last 30 minutes. There's so many places where you could have ended that movie and things you could have just cinched out just a little bit. The Avengers did it so perfectly. And this one had the same thing. It had Victor's dad talking over in voiceover. So we're following where the characters are going next, that they're going to maybe establish the Hall of Justice eventually. And you can leave that in because even though we're not going to see that, that's an optimistic future thing. But like the way the Avengers wrapped up, and then yeah, it gave you like that little, ooh, Thanos was behind it, and most people were like, who the fuck is that? Like this one gives you this whole other, it sets up this whole other movie, which is like, why did you do that? Like, I know you want people to see that, but maybe put that as like a extra thing, or I don't know. It kind of deflated how great the movie was going for me.
Okay. So we're in the nightmare realm. We're in the after the movie is over portion, what should have been the post-credit sequences. The nightmare sequence is useless. It's a teaser for a movie that will never happen.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Chop it. It doesn't need to be, and it's not really that cool. It's just like people wanted to see People
Joaquin Phoenix. They're all Cesar Romero.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Jack Nicholson.
There we go. Oh, my stars. Now I think we have them all. Conrad Veidt.
Let's go over the 6. Let's just fucking do it. I've already said my thoughts is like Batman was so much better. Ben Affleck got like I remember people going like Ben Affleck was so great in Batman v Superman, and I think he was, but I hated that movie so much I couldn't tell who was good and who was bad. And then in Justice League, he was just awful, and he looked like he didn't want to be there, and he was bloated because they made him reshoot everything. And in this movie, he was just fucking great. He was spot on Batman. So cool.
Well, and again, more Batman meant and more authentic Batman. I think Affleck did a great job, and that meant more Alfred.
Yeah, way more Alfred.
And so no, Jeremy Irons as Alfred was fantastic.
He's
and
so good.
Well, like I said before, I mean, she's the Wonder Woman we know and love in this one, and the emo one we got in 1984. So,
oh yeah, I didn't even see that movie.
Definitely seeing her badass in this one.
Oh, so cool in this one.
She was kind of like the co-leader, I guess, along with Batman. So I kind of like that dynamic.
Flash was kind of the standout for me in the 2017 one, even though I thought they were pushing his goofy oddball humor too much. I love it even more this time because he's still my standout, but he's so much more rested and subtle, and it's not so in your face. He's got funny lines. Ezra Miller plays him so. Everyone thought like Ezra Miller was playing him almost like mentally challenged in the Joss Whedon one. There's none of those traits in this one. He's a regular guy who's smart and contributes to the plan and trying to figure out what's going on. This one was so much more heady as far as like everyone's contributing to how they can help and what they can do. The other one just. It was the most dumbed down movie maybe ever made. And
again, as I started off the hip hop, I did not really know the characters or understand the characters when I saw the 2017. And this time I liked Barry. I thought Ezra Miller did a great job. I appreciated his humor, and he wasn't portrayed as a coward.
Yeah.
Like, dude, no. But in the 2017 version, portrayed as a coward. Like, I don't like bugs or guns.
Yeah.
He was afraid.
Okay, then go the fuck home, fast man.
Yeah, and isn't it? It's so epic how they introduce a superhero like the Flash in the Joss Whedon one by him walking into a room and having Batman sitting on a chair. Wow, that's amazing. Like this one, we got a hero moment that was one of the best scenes in the movie. Like it was so cool. Just it's like, wow, that's the Flash, and that's all. Now we know his powers. Like, let's move on and get to know him. Yeah, he was just such a better character in this movie.
Although I have no idea who Iris West is.
Yeah, well, again, that was probably just a quick setup, for something.
Oh yeah, for the next movie that'll never be made.
But that could have just been, because we're never.
No.
I don't blame him for keeping that in because that scene is just it's.
But they're making Flashpoint. Is she going to be Iris West in the?
Yeah, she's cast in it. So.
Oh, then great, awesome. Then I'm glad that she got her scene. I'm glad that character was introduced, and I can't wait for her to be fleshed out.
Again, like I said, Aquaman was better in this movie. I still think he's the weakest of all of them, just because Momoa is just kind of like a biker dude. I don't really find him very convincing. But they gave him some sick, badass fight scenes in the final battle of this movie. And isn't it cool how like? They're constantly all working together in this one, like constantly. He even helps Wonder Woman pull the lasso, and Steppenwolf is tied. Like they're constantly doing things with each other, and like Wonder Woman was like using like cyborg rays and making them stronger with her whatever those things are called.
I forgot it was an action movie, but you're absolutely correct, sir. Like that is, it was incredible just to see them work as a team with their powers and how they were doing everything. Like I did enjoy seeing the Justice League being their superheroed badass selves.
Yeah.
It was the giddiest of the entire time. I enjoy the character development.
Totally. And they all take a part, and they all share in the glory of just brutalizing and torturing Steppenwolf in the end. Like each one of them fucks him up so bad, and then like Wonder Woman's like, no, I need to hack this fucker's head off. So she charges him before he goes back through the like that was great.
Like even that climax of the movie, there were stakes involved, and they got the three, like they stopped the Unity, and when they blew apart, it was important, and then Wonder Woman had to cut off motherfucker's head.
Yeah,
and
so
it
great.
was like it was something that was important, as opposed to them like Cyborg and Superman fall over, and then Superman says, "No, I wish I were dead again." So, and that's what it was, set up and delivery, like set up and payoff. The entire movie was set up and payoff for 4
100%.
hours. It was set up and payoff.
I've never actually saved anyone. I've just sort of pushed them away and like just save one all that shit is gone, because that stuff is the worst script of all time.
Well, because Barry's a man and he knows what to do. Like
Yeah.
he has powers. And
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
don't
saying man in terms of being like patriarchal or anything
Well,
like
they
that.
don't treat him like a little
He's
kid.
an authoritative individual who knows what he is capable of.
Yeah, they don't treat him like a little kid on the spectrum in this movie, basically. And I'm
Yes.
not even kidding. That's basically what they wrote him as in the 2017 one. I watched the last hour and a half last night, and I went through all the emotions of like that's where like there's a lot of the sadness stuff and a lot of the real hearty stuff comes in, and then all the big hero money shot moments. So I was all over the place just going, I didn't know I liked these characters this much. I did not think I cared, because Man of Steel was fine. I love the score more than I love the movie. I think the score really amplifies the film. I think Batman and Superman is fucking horrific. It was my least favorite movie of 2016. And obviously Justice League was a piece of shit. Wonder Woman 1 was fine, but Shazam up to this point was my favorite DC movie. You know, unless you count Joker, but I don't know if that's included or not. But you know, when Wonder Woman is given all the exposition of the mother boxes and stuff,
Yeah.
it was one of those guys. It looked like one of them was from 300. I think it was supposed to be like Zeus or something, but it looked straight out. It looked like Gerard Butler straight out of 300.
It did.
We hadn't talked much about Superman, and I mean, he doesn't really appear to like almost a 2.5 hour mark. But I kind of wish I had a little bit more Superman. I mean, I wish. I mean, I know that he's Scott's already Scott.
Well, no, but I think that Superman kicks the whole thing off in terms of like activating, awakening the mother boxes. Like he shows up in the first minute.
Yeah, they had said that because he was dead in the first place, that's why they were able to get the mother boxes the way they did, because as long as he was still alive, they were afraid. Because he was, I guess.
Or I think we know of mother boxes.
I don't know. Yeah, why were they all on Earth? Yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot of.
What exactly is the anti-life equation?
I think the anti-life equation is something that comic book people would know better. I'm not huge. I don't know anything about Darkseid.
I am under the impression that the anti-life equation is the square root of Jack Squat. Oh my god! I made a gulp spit.
It almost came out my nose, man. It's the equivalent of like Thanos with his like getting his jewels and cutting out half of existence. But I don't think we're ever going to find out what the anti-life equation is, because they didn't. And as much as I'm blowing this movie, the whole thing was a mess. Like everyone's like, give Snyder back the universe. Really? He's the one that rushed everything to begin with. I want to give him credit because this was so good, but he also got 4 fucking hours to do it. He rushed everything so much that we never got build up to what things might become later. Like this movie tried to cram it all in there, and it's like, you're right, Scott. What the fuck is the anti-life equation? Well, that should have been hinted about in other movies. They rushed everything because Marvel was so far ahead of them, where they're like, oh, we got to get these guys together right away. It's like, man, I've been wanting a Flash movie my whole life. That's really the only DC comic I read as a kid. I was a Spider-Man guy, an X-Men guy, and a Flash guy. And like, God, a Flash movie before this, where he's just starting out at Star Labs. You know, so I'm kind of, the show has kind of turned into a mess, but it really started out great. Like the way that show first started was great. I think that's the problem with all this stuff. Like Scott, like there's gonna be questions that don't make sense because they just shoved it all in here, and then we're never gonna know why any of that. And the whole thing's so odd to me because now you have these characters continuing on in more solo movies, but then this one, did it exist or didn't it exist? Like, do they not talk about the Justice League? Like, how do you have another Wonder Woman, another Aquaman, a Flash? I guess Flash might try to fix all this shit or something.
Well, but and I think that's exactly what's going to happen, is that Flashpoint is going to, I don't know, retcon Crisis on Infinite Earths everything.
They need to have Deadpool show up and break the fourth wall and go, we're starting over, folks.
I think that it was absolutely endearing, fantastic to have the Flash be the hero of the Justice League, who actually ran so fast that he traveled through time. Although, as soon as I saw him travel so fast that he traveled backward in time, I was like, this reminds me of something. Could this be a Christopher Reeve?
Superman, yeah.
So, but I thought that was awesome, and the special effect for it was great, and I understood absolutely everything that was going on. There were stakes. I absolutely adored it. I thought the climax of this film was fantastic. I don't want to overstate Cyborg, but I think that in the 2017 cut, I didn't know the character. It was
we didn't know any of the characters in that movie. Yeah.
Well, no, but you knew who Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, you knew who they were. General audiences haven't the slightest popcorn fart of who Cyborg is.
You know, the old Aquaman from the comics looked like one of the ambiguously gay duo, if you remember that from Saturday Night Live. Like he was
oh, like, I don't think there was anything ambiguous about it.
Here's the thing I love about the Flash's character in this movie, the reason I know the Flash is through actions, through his character, through what he does, through how he talks to other people. Aquaman, you only know about him because they give you more of him swimming around Atlantis and other people telling you who he is. Willem Dafoe's here to tell us who Aquaman is supposed to be. He's supposed to be the king, but he doesn't want to be because he's a badass who listens to White Stripes, and you know, like, so like you don't get a whole lot more.
Not in the Snyder cut, he don't.
He was the only one that was against reviving Superman or resurrecting Superman. But,
yeah. Well, he was the only one who was totally like, well, not totally, but he was the one who was most this is a bad idea. I enjoyed it far more. I remember the 4-hour cut more than I remember the 2-hour cut. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. I like Lois Lane. Get out of my face. All of it, I thought it was great, and I would absolutely, once you see the Justice League standing around the rim of the smokestack or whatever in Russia, I think that you should press stop. Don't worry with the end of the movie. Like Jared Leto, let him go.
I'm with Scott. I enjoyed the movie too, and I'm glad that it was finally, I don't know, finally made, but I'm glad it was finally done, and that we finally get to see it, and we can see Zack Snyder's true vision of the movie. You know, because Justice League just tore it apart, and you don't give a damn about those characters. But in this one, you do give a damn about the characters. Like, it's all 6 of the greatest DC comic characters of all time in one movie, and you actually give a damn about them. And then it was a good story, much better story. The villains was better developed, and there was no awkward jokes. Or get rid of that Russian family at the end that nobody gave a damn about anyway. So it was a lot. I think it was a lot better put together.
I'm usually a huge fan of saturation. I think it adds a lot to things, but it can also look fake. And the thing I couldn't put my finger on about the Justice League was the color palette. It was so fucking bright that it didn't match the aesthetic of the DCEU in any form. Not even Wonder Woman was still gritty, and it still used deep blacks. They all kind of had a Matrix 1 look to them, and then Justice League comes out, and it's just fucking. It looks like a cotton candy rainbow. I just mean, like, there was a lot of people going like, well, I want to see the Flash's suit red. Why is it brown in the Snyder one? And I'm like, well, your eyes were used to that already, because you're already seeing a bright colored Superman from Man of Steel kind of desaturated, with a lot more, like, I don't want to say sepias, but like it had a grittier look to it. It had deep blacks, and it's like supposed to be this bright Superman outfit. So to me, I was like fine with it, like I like the way, basically what I'm getting at, because I've already done like an opening summary of this movie. Like, I like the look of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I always thought there was something dour about the way he approached Man of Steel color wise, but it fit the story he was trying to tell. Then he got darker with that piece of garbage Batman versus Superman, which I've seen once, and luckily I was at a Cinépolis, so I was drinking while watching it, so it made it a little bit easier to digest. But and then all of a sudden it's super bright. So I love the fact that this one went back to that aesthetic, that kind of set the DCEU. I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised, because I was telling Philip, yes, I have no interest in watching this. I don't even care. It really took like Red Letter Media for hearing their review for me to go, all right, fuck it. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we all really liked Justice League. I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to you guys, talking about how much I liked this movie. Like, it was just
surprised I liked it.
2 nights. I'm surprised too. 2 nights of just a total blast. Like, it started out a little slow, but I'd already heard that from Rob and from other people that it starts out kind of slow, but I was still on board.
It's called foreplay.
Yeah, no, for the first half of it, I had my white wine going. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here, veg out on the couch and watch it, and I just got sucked in. And then last night, finishing the last third, that shit was epic. All right, guys, thanks so much. As always, click like, subscribe to Cinema Gulp. Please tell your friends, and as Scott said, smash that motherfucking bell. Until next time, everybody, I'm Ben, that's Philip, and that is Scott. Thank you guys once again. We drink your cinema.